Hello! Okie dokie. So I am live now. What? I just got a notification. Alright. Just getting everything set up to paint. Something's not right here. Oh. Hello! Hi, Anush. Anish. Sorry, I mispronounced your name. Hello! Welcome to my little watercolor session. I have no idea where to put my tea down because I have so much stuff on my desk. Just gonna wet down my paints for today's adventure. Hi, Christine. Hi, Yoli. Hi, artist bro. Maybe I'll put this over here and hopefully not spill it. Ooh, Arkansas. Arkansas. I'm just gonna read phonetically. Hello from France, and I am in a very beautiful, sunny New Jersey. I am so very, very happy to be hosting today. Oh, I got a hello from India. So I'm just gonna give some people some time to sign on. Oh my gosh, Smoky Portland, Oregon. Yeah, everybody out there on the left coast, like, my heart goes out to you. Okay, my computer is making a weird noise. So I can mute it. Is that better if it's making a weird noise? There is somebody mowing the lawn. Can you guys hear me okay? Huh. All right. I will close the window. Okay, is that better? That my neighbors are mowing the lawn right now. I really would love to have the window open, but yeah, unfortunately lawn equipment is noisy. I don't know, maybe I can like throw some marbles at them or something. Oh, hi. Hi, Lois. So happy to see you guys. So earlier this week, I put out a little poll on Sketchy Art School. Sorry, I'm like, my son says Patrick Brain. And asking what substrate people wanted to see me use, because I had the options of using traditional watercolor, or if people wanted to see me demonstrate on aquaboard, and majority went for the traditional watercolor paper. But because I just love teaching about watercolor paper and watercolor and color theory and just everything watercolor, I decided that I will do a second session next week on the watercolor board, and I will use the same subject that you can see above me. And so you can... Okay, someone says they're still hearing a clicking noise. That's weird. Shouldn't be a clicking noise. I don't have anything clicking in here. Shut the window. So I just completely lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so I'll be doing 2 painting sessions. One today with traditional watercolor paper, and then another one using the clay aqua board. So yeah, let me see what I can do. I'm sorry about my arms. Okay, so hopefully there's maybe someone just had to maybe shut and restart their browser or something. So yeah, I'm sorry about any weird noises or anything like that. If you hear small children screaming, they're fine. My son's friends just came over and they're playing video games together, so they're very excitable with their video games. Okay, so who wants to get this painting party started? I know I do. Oh, I made a little note on the side of my board here that there is going to be a discount code if you purchase 2 or more water classes from the Sketchy Art School. Then you can use the code WILD for watercolor, which you can find down below in the description using the number 4 instead of spelling it out. And then you can get 20% off your purchase. So yeah, there are some other classes out there that aren't strictly watercolor classes, but that include watercolor. I know that there's one that's more of like a mixed media, adding like little other elements to it. So yeah, feel free to please check those out. I do have a watercolor class. It's a little bit older, but you know, it's still good. All right, so, excuse me. That's what I get for drinking tea. So yeah, I'm gonna open up my sketchbook here and share that. I'm wearing arthritis gloves because my hands were getting a little swollen, just because my body doesn't like me. So I did a little bit of pre-sketching, and I used the Loomis method to help me out getting the weird angle. Like she has like a pretty extreme swirl pattern going on. And as you can see above me, I really zoomed in and cropped in on her face just so that I could, you know, shrink down the composition. So it would be a little less information for me to deal with painting. And I really like the amazing spiral aspect that Dominique got in her photo. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous, need to do it. And I also love the fact that, you know, she included a pretty little flower in there because that's like, you know, my thing. I really enjoy painting flowers. So yeah, this is the basic sketch I did for my composition. I always recommend doing some pre-sketches just because it gets you familiar with the face. And if you actually do it to scale on the same size that you're going to use for your watercolor paper, then you can use some transfer paper or graphite paper to actually trace your image onto the watercolor paper or even project it onto there, because then you can not worry about having to erase and have like extra lines all over your watercolor paper, which some people don't like that. I don't mind, honestly, if there's some ghost lines on there, but for the most part, you know, I usually let my lines, my drawing just get hidden. So Molly, there is a link to download the photo. It should be below in the description. Or if you log into Sketchy Art School, the link should be posted there under my the poll that I did, whether I should use watercolor paper or the aqua board. Okay, so let's get this little party started. So how many people jumped over from Frances' class that she just ended? I feel bad that I started so soon after her because I know that everyone loves when she goes over a little bit and does like her little conversation and answers questions and whatnot. It is really, really difficult to, hi friends! It's really difficult to finish something in an hour. I was thinking if I had my protractor out here, but I don't. Because sometimes I actually do use a ruler or a protractor to measure angles when I want to get them properly. So I'm just gonna do like visual measuring and like use like a pencil and whatnot to gather the angles that I need. All right, so usually I do sketch in a number 4 pencil, not a number 4, 4H, because a 4B would be way too dark. But it would not show up on camera, so I'm going to be using one of my magic pencils, which is a multicolored colored pencil, just because it shows up better and I like the little bit of added chaos. All right, so I'm going to start with the center line of her face, which is, if I measure this, it's like about that angle, and then be like, yay! So we're like going in this direction. So you can see that there. All right, so from there, I'm gonna get that in. So if you haven't watched any of Mike's videos on how to start off with the Loomis method, I highly recommend you doing that. It really takes a lot of the stress out of starting a painting or a drawing, really. So this is going to be her face. Just going to cut in here. So you can see very, very lightly. I'm just getting some sketchy lines in here. Because we're quite sketchy. Yeah. All right, and then so that cuts in, and then her eyes. With her eyes, with this one, like I want to be really careful to make sure that I get the appropriate line, because her eyes are like beautifully closed, and I found when I was doing my sketch that like I sort of curved the line, which almost made it look like her eyes were like slightly open, and that was just all sorts of disappointing. That is not appropriately centered, but whatever. So brow ridge here. Face comes down. And I'm holding my pencil pretty far back because when you hold your pencil up close, you end up using more pressure. And then automatically when you hold it further back towards the end of it, you're less likely to put a lot of pressure down. And so move here. Oh my gosh, they're arguing about something downstairs. All right, then she has this really awesome shadow here. And because I'm a painter and I work in shape more than lines, I really try to focus on shape when I am getting my sketches and my drawings on here. So you might see me like creating an outline of a shape and you're like, why are you outlining that? You know, it's like a shadow. Well, that's where I want to put like a shape of paint there. So it's really important to me when I'm drawing that I focus on shapes. And there's like a little triangle here, right around here where she has it. Oh my gosh, like what really attracted me to this was this triangle on the corner of her mouth and this awesome swoosh shadow right here. And this highlight on her face. Those 3 triangles, I was just like, ooh, that's really nice. That and the swirling composition. Like this woman really knows her angles. I think that's what all the kids are saying these days. So right now I am working on 140 pound, 300 GSM. I wrote it up here if anybody can actually read my trash handwriting. Arches cold press paper. It is a cotton paper, so it can really withstand a lot of abuse versus like a paper made from wood pulp. So that's there. I feel like some things are just messed up right now as far as my drawing goes, but that's okay. Because I'll give myself another 5 minutes or so to write it. So that's there. That needs to be there. I think what's throwing me off is this mark that I put there. So I'm like closing one eye, squinting, and I'm trying to match things up, drawing all over my iPad. Can't really see, you might be able to see if I angle it, but there's like a huge crack going down the center of my screen. Not sure if I did that or one of my kids did that. Or if my dog did it. Probably was me. Alright, I found this line that I really like, so we're going to keep that. Yeah, I made her nose too far over. We'll just adjust that. This slightly dips in there, and then she has this shadow down here, and this one comes here, and other eyebrow. I always have the tendency when I'm drawing that if I have a face on an angle, like I always want to write it, or I just, yeah, it's goofiness. Okay. I just had to quickly message my husband. I absolutely love this pencil. It is like one of my favorites to do sketches and play, because I actually did my initial sketch. I was sitting at my son's soccer practice, so I just hit the camera. And so this was all just using my magic pencil, getting all those colors in there. And then I used like a blue fine liner on top to define the lines that I wanted to keep. And I don't know, it just adds like a really fun, chaotic element to my drawings and whatnot. And I like it. I like it a lot. I order like packs of them. And I always give them out to my students as presents. And they're like being awesome. That, and I know I teach high schoolers, but I still give them stickers. Because, you know, they're fun to decorate. All right, so the nose is at this angle, and this eye sort of comes down like this, except it's not curved. It's fairly straight. And then the shadow is what curves under it. Yeah, I probably could turn the board. That might make it a little bit easier since I keep on trying to straighten things. There we go. Now I feel like I'm drawing it righted. Okay, so Natasha Edger says, I've never seen such a pencil. I think I should get one too. They're put out by a company called Kohl Ignore. They're a Czech company, so sometimes I have to, if they're not in stock in some of the American stores, I have to wait like a week or two. Hello from Texas. Magic Pencil, it is a colored pencil. I can show you on this one, because this one is, here you can see it's has the 3 colors of red, yellow, and blue sandwiched together. So as you're drawing, it adds a little chaos because you're not really sure what color you're going to end up with. And I gotta tell you, if you ever take one of Frances' classes using the cross hatching, they're so much fun to use for her class. Or with Mike's new class with the contour drawing, the contour hatching, like it just makes cross hatching and hatching so much fun. They are slightly erasable if you are gentle. As you can see, I can pick up some of the lines using a kneaded eraser, but it is a colored pencil, so it does have like, I'm not sure if it's, I think it's wax or oil. I don't know which base it has. So if you do press down with it, you're not gonna have a good time trying to erase it. But if you keep your hand nice and light, you should be okay. And if you ever do sketch on watercolor paper, please, please, please use kneaded eraser, because they are much more gentle on the sizing. So the pencil, once again, it's by the company Kohl I Noor, K-O-H-I-N-O-O-R. Magic pencil. And they have other ones that are different colors, but I like the original primary colored one. Oh, Lauren, you have to stop talking and get into painting. All right, so I'm just going to do the rest of this really loose. I absolutely love her ear. All right, so how many nostrils away is your ear? Another one. 1, 2, 2.5. 1, 7. That was pretty good there. You know you're a portrait artist when you're like, oh, that nose, or oh, that mustache, or oh, those ears, I must draw them. Am I right? You start falling in love with certain features and the shapes that they create and the lines and how much fun they are to create with different textures. And she has her earring, which I'm just going to make really way too big. That's all right. Oop, that's not the right shape there. That has to come in here. So right now I'm using some of the negative space here to tell me how far in her neck should come. There we go. And it's more of a straight line there, but I feel like exaggerating the curve. So that's what I'm going to do. Because as far as this piece of paper is concerned, I am in charge. And I get to do what I want. Please excuse the noises. I'm a noisy artist. Oh, Tay. Sorry, I just had to update a text message there. All right, so now I am happy with my sketch. Why did I pick up that pencil? Because it was there. It's like, I remember someone saying it's okay if you talk to yourself. It's just when you answer yourself that you might have some issues. And then if you start arguing with yourself, oh my gosh. Can't tell. Ooh, excuse me. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm good. All right, so now let us start painting. I love the beautiful orange tones that she has in her skin. They're just so pretty. So I really want to attempt to keep up with that. It's sort of funny to me with the nose, but whatever. We'll make adjustments as we go. You know, feel free in the comments if you see me doing something like really whack and you're like, whoa, that's like totally the wrong proportion. Because I never know what I'm doing. France was saying, like, you know, people always compliment her and she makes everything look so easy. And no, it's not easy for me. I'm always struggling. Every single drawing, I feel like it's a battle. Every single painting, I feel like I learned something. This nostril, like, what are you doing? All right. Gonna deal with it for now. Okay, so let us start the painting process. I'm gonna put my kneaded eraser there so I don't lose it. I have some paper towel ready for blotting. I have a rag also ready for blotting that I dropped on the floor. I have not one, but 2 jars of water because I go through a lot of water. I usually have 1 jar for cleaning my brush and another jar for like picking up the paint and moistening my palette. Grab some brushes. These are some of my favorite brushes. I really like this Princeton Velvet Touch series. And then I have a Blick Master Stroke Red Sable number 8. And I will start with that one. And I almost put my brush in my tea. So I'm gonna put down I'm just gonna move the tea. Because that was like the 3rd time I almost put my brush in it. So yeah, I'm gonna start off with a nice wash of color. I'm not gonna completely like soak and saturate the painting to the point where I have puddles, but I just wanna start off with a glaze of paper. Oh my gosh, someone has a really noisy car out there. It's like probably one of those kids that takes like the muffler off their Civic, or what's the one Volkswagen that all the young guys like to drive and make them all super noisy? I don't know. It is a battle. All right. So what I'm gonna do is mix up a little custom color. I'm gonna turn my palette upside down so you guys can get a better view of the mixing. So I'm going to take some Azo Yellow by M. Graham. I'm going to clean off this paint from my last painting because I used a little wash there, and, which is way opaque. I don't want that. I want the beautiful luminosity, Illuminati, that traditional watercolors have. Okay, now I'm using some Magello Mission Permanent Rose. Is that lovely? It's gonna make a nice red. Isn't that crazy? I just used yellow and like a magenta color and I made red. But red's a primary color. So what watercolors am I using? This is a good question. I use a whole bunch of different watercolors. So here in my little cup, I have Daniel Smith. I love Daniel Smith. More Daniel Smith. Winsor and Newton by far still has like my absolute favorite Payne's Gray. And I really like this yellow by M. Graham. It's called Azo Yellow. I really like quinacridone pink too, so I interchange that a lot with the permanent rose. And phthalo blue, it's like phthalo blue. I don't think you have to pronounce the P, but it's fun. Yeah, those are the colors I end up using most. I'm gonna add a little bit more of this. Okay, going back to the orangey. Nice. Feel free to laugh at my mispronunciations of things. It's just like a running thing that I stink with vowels, constantly mispronouncing them. Okay. So right now I'm going in with this orangey, pinky color. Oh, let me get this off the screen. Orangey, pinkish tone. And it's sort of like a mid-tone. So I'm leaving the areas of highlight, which, like right here, and like right here, and right here, that's sort of like a mid-tone. So I'm gonna leave those to sort of the white of the paper. I mean, some of the stuff is gonna be bleeding in there, but whatevs. You know, it's all good. Cloud just came over and took some of my natural light on this side. Long A on phthalo. So phthalo, that's long A, because that's short A. Thank you, Anthony. My husband, he tries to help me with my pronunciation of things, because he used to be an English teacher, and is trained in the Lindenrud system for teaching phonetics and reading. And he tries. He tries to help me, but it doesn't help like that much that my mom is horrible with pronouncing her vowels too, so I just learned the wrong way to say things. But you know, we'll get over it. And it's so sad too, because like I'm a teacher and public speaking is what I do all the time. So yeah, right now I'm only using the Azo Yellow and the Permanent Rose. So to help out here, Kathy is saying what colors, not brands. I'll try to be a little bit more specific as to what color I'm going into. Sometimes I get them a little confused in my palette. Like I was being extra doofy one day and I kept on calling my vermilion Viridian, and I was like, no, they're completely opposite colors. One's gray, one's green, and one's red, and if you mix them together, you get gray. So once again, I'm just taking from those two. I could probably do like an entire painting in just like the Permanent Rose, the Azo Yellow, and the phthalo blue. Phthalo. Don't have to use the P. So just blocking in loosely those gorgeous colors. So because I only wet the area on the paper, which once again is 140 pound Arches cotton paper, cold press, because I only wet those areas, that's the only where the paint will spread to. So if I completely threw water down on the entire thing, then the colors would be like going all over the place. And if I super soaked the paper, then like it would just become like a mush. I mean, it is pretty mushy, but it's a controlled mush right now. So as the paper dries, like you have to really just learn with timing and experience. And because this paper is more spongy, it's cotton, it will, for the most part, stay in the areas where I want it. And that is good because, yeah, if your paper has like too much sizing, or sometimes I find the wood pulp-based papers, I find that the paint just like slides all over the place. And I'm like, hey, stop that. I don't want you there. So, yeah. I think I made her chin too big. Yeah, totally made her chin too big. Oh well. Oh, I got a fun question here from Artist Bro. Which is the most difficult medium based on me? I stink at most of the dry media. I'm more of a painter because I focus so much on shape and color. So when I use the dry media, I can get away with charcoal because like I feel it's almost like three-dimensional when you work with it because you really get to play with your fingers and build up shadows and stuff. But I really stink with colored pencil. I stink with ink and graphite. I have so much admiration for people like France who just rock the line, and people like Anna Lopez on the Sketchy app. Like, oh, I just look at their work and I'm like, what? But I love painting. I absolutely love it. I love painting with pastel, even though it's more of a dry media. I treat it more like paint. I love using watercolor. People think watercolor is really difficult. I don't. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so I'm actually allowing myself to talk on purpose here because I do want this just to dry down a little bit. I'm gonna put some more orange in there. A little bit more the orangey pink here in the hairline. And I don't want like weird lines. I want it to sort of fade. I don't want a weird edge. So I'm just going to put some clean water there and just let it blend up. I'm going to use a clean brush that's sort of dry, and I can use it like a sponge to sop up areas there. Whoa, I just got some music freezing. Oh, we just glitched. Hopefully we're still good. I don't know what happened. My camera just blipped out for a moment there. Okay. So I could use a hairdryer to dry this down. It's already 37, which I think I might need to do. You can see my paper is getting a little puffy right here. I didn't do the best job stretching it last night. Like one of the pieces of tape actually like popped off. And so I had to re-dampen it and stick it down again. And just, like sometimes I don't get enough water on the paper tape and it just starts doing weird things. All right, so I'm gonna quickly grab my hairdryer. I just stuck my foot in my cup of tea that I put on the floor. Oops. Not the smartest thing I've done. Got my hairdryer. Got my extension cord. Trying to plug it into my extension cord. Falling over into the extension cord. Ugh. Alright. Nothing like watching your art teacher fall all over the place. Alright, so please, it's going to get loud for a second here. All right, there we go. So it's still a little bit damp, but it's dry enough where I'm actually going to be able to work with it again. Did I bump the camera or something? I don't even know. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding some of the darker shapes in there, which is going to really add the contrast and start really defining her gorgeous features. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a little bit of this reddish brown. What color are you? I'm picking out the tube. I can't open it. It is transparent brown oxide. Yeah, transparent brown oxide by QOR, which is by the company Golden, which I absolutely adore them. They're a really, really awesome company, and I have a lot of respect for them and their consideration for the environment. Their line of watercolors is like fairly new. They're more known for their acrylics and acrylic mediums. But one thing that really impresses me about the company is the fact that they're so environmentally conscious about the impact of microplastics that are in acrylic paint, because when you wash your brushes, when you put your paint water or you clean up, acrylic is plastic. And so you're essentially introducing liquid plastic into the water systems, and it's so small that it can get through the filtration and into our ecosystem, which eventually comes back to us. So they had on their website posted like how to create with a few chemicals that you can get your hands on, a few like garden chemicals, a flocculation kit, which causes the small plastic particles to clump together and then sink to the bottom. And then you just strain it over a coffee filter, and then you have all the solids. And then you just have to adjust the pH of what's left in the bucket. And then you can introduce it back into the water system and, you know, let it go through the municipal water system, waterworks. And I thought that was really incredible that they were recommending this on their website and were educating people about this. Like, I never knew about this. No one ever taught me this in college. No one ever taught me that in school. But, you know, this company really cares. And then in the spring, they actually released an actual kit. So you didn't have to like go to different sources to make your own water purification system. You actually could just buy everything straight for them, which is wonderful, because it has the instructions on what to do right there for you. So yeah, I just thought that was incredibly cool, and I am ever so grateful for that, and for the fact that they, you know, really want to educate everybody. I really like this brown. So as you see now, because the paper is drier, I can get the hard edges of these shadows. So see how it's like a soft edge here, because it's all fuzzy, and then that's a hard edge because it's like not fuzzy. I don't know. I just talked a lot about acrylic paint, even though I'm using watercolor. It's good to care. It's good to be a responsible steward of the planet. So, just going to pull that up a little bit more. This one I'm going to water down a little bit because the shadow on this side, it's like there's more light there. But I really want to try to capture the unique shape right here where it's like, but then there's still that little highlight, that little beat, so it's like a triangle. I guess I really like triangles. This poor model, when she like signed on, oh yeah, you can paint me for a sketchy live, but you know, she didn't have any clue that she was going to be painted so orange. Orange. I say that funny too. Orange, orange. Whatever. I'll put a little right there. And then I'm going to take a little bit of a purple mixture that I created using the permanent rose and the phthalo blue, green shade. Because I'm trying to be conscious of my pronunciation. And I'm going to use a number 4 long round brush. And I'm going to gently tap that into her lash line. Oh, I sound like a beauty guru now. Just pop that in on the lash line. I feel like I should hold up the brush and do that thing where they get it to autofocus. Oh my God, put some of it right here. I'm going to tilt this up on the edge of my laptop. This with the light glare. I can't see. I want to clean the brush, blow up the brush, and I'm going to gently pull this over here. So another tip is when you are working with watercolor, be as gentle as possible with your brush strokes and try to be deliberate with them. Like if you don't know where to put your brush stroke, don't just go like this until you figure out where you want to put it, because you're going to overwork the paper, you're going to overwork the paint, because one of the beautiful things about watercolors is when you let it mix and intermingle with the other colors on the paper, and it gives you some really gorgeous effects. And if you just over manipulate it, you lose that, and you lose that really grand texture and awesomeness, and that's just sad. And my little art teacher heart will cry. And you don't want to do that, do you? I'll zoom out. Now I want to get some more of this triangular shape here. I need to make that more orange. I'm going to add a little bit of that translucent brown oxide in here. And we're going to pull this shadow down. I'm going to adjust the chin because even though I made an oopsie there, I can fix that later with the background. Why am I talking like this? You may never know. Great, now I'm making Star Wars noises. Pew, pew. Yes, I'm painting. This is what you get for leaving me unsupervised. One of my past students sent me a hilarious post by another art teacher on Instagram where she was curious as to how many stools she could like get over her head. She got up to 11, but then she was stuck. And her students all walked in, and their art teacher's like in the corner, like trying to escape like all these stools that she like put on her head. I was like, yeah, I would totally do something like that. So yeah, to answer Naomi, I am a teacher for the New Jersey Public Schools. I'm an art teacher at hobby because I don't have a really pretty French accent like France, so I can't be a French teacher because I don't know any other languages other than English. So yeah, I'm a special ed art teacher actually for the public school system, and currently homeschooling my kids, so that's fun. I'm not going to win the Teacher of the Year award with them. They prefer me as being their mom. So, yeah. Mixing a little bit more of this orange color. Whoa! Too much rose. Back it up. Back it up, back it up, back it up again. Don't bother me because I have to see. I know I'm not singing the right lyrics. Anyway. So I'm just working in some shapes and shadows. Oh my gosh, it's almost 2 o'clock. Oh, Naomi's a retired art teacher. Yeah. Yay for us being that teacher in the building. Everyone's like, oh, they're the art teacher. It's okay. I got in trouble, I think it was 2 years ago, because they were doing the statewide testing, like those really high stake, like you must pass this test, otherwise like you don't get to graduate high school. And my kids were really stressed out. So I have a monkey suit in my closet, like one of those onesies. I also have a dragon and a unicorn. So I put one of them on, and I was like running down the hallway doing cartwheels in front of the doors where they were testing, just to like try to cheer up the kids while they're on break. And I got in trouble. They're like, you can't do that. Well, I did. So, yeah, I'm there for the kids. With all my quirkiness. I mean, it was totally worth it. And then another time, what was it? It was for Spirit Week. My husband and I, we were actually homeroom teachers together, and we had all the juniors together, and we decided to prank the principal, and we totally punked him. It was great. He had these M&M dispensers on his desk, and we kidnapped them. And we would like take pictures of them with a Polaroid camera and leave them on his desk every morning, and like sort of leave clues as to who stole them. And he was actually like legit upset. Like, and then I found out later that they were actually like really important and sentimental, and you know, we're taking pictures of them like on the roof, about to get run over by a car. Like, we didn't harm them at all, and we did return them in exchange for a barbecue. But yeah, but he was good about it. Oh, you work with uni students, university students. I would love to like teach some of the big kids, but I mean, like I enjoy the little kids too sometimes. Like in the summers, I usually do classes for like fourth graders. I also do some online classes for special ed students. The Medford Art Center got a grant to hold a summer art camp of no charge to the students or the families. And they hired me because I'm special education certified. And so it's nice for them to be able to have a class where they're like, even if they're high school kids, they're not sitting with like a bunch of little kids because like that's where their skill level it is or the communication level. No, like they're sitting with other high school kids who just happen to be special ed as well. So they have like, you know, some little comrades to be with. And, you know, some shared experiences. And, you know, they feel awesome because it's really geared for them. And I put a lot of time into just really pumping them up and letting them know that, hey, just because, you know, you have some sort of disability or, you know, just something going on, like, yeah, you might not be good at reading because you have dyslexia, or yeah, you might have like a comprehension auditory issue, but you can still be a great artist. Just because, like, yeah, everybody's brain works different. I feel like communication barrier and like you're afraid to talk, like it's a really nice small setting, and so like you can really get to know each other. Oh, brushes I'm using right now. I'm switching between my long round number 4 and my long round number 8. They are Princeton Velvet Touch brushes. I really like this brand. They are synthetic, so they hold a really nice point. They have a good snap to them. They don't hold as much water as like a natural haired brush because they're not as porous, but they're still really nice quality brush. I like them. These are actually brushes that I purchased last summer when I was doing the Philadelphia Art Wars Challenge, which is really a lot of fun. And I wish they could have had it this year again, but you know, it's not exactly safe to do these art competitions in person. So maybe next year. It was really cool though, because I made it to the finale, and I was battling a 2-hour battle against some other really awesome Philadelphia-based artists. We had a blast, and then I won, and it was fun. And then I got a really nice gift card for art supplies. And I took my niece shopping. It's like our thing. Every summer we go shopping for art supplies together before school. That's way too dark. But what else? Oh my gosh. So we only have like 3 minutes left. Oh. Asked me to come to India and teach. I don't like long plane rides. Not my thing, but there is a lot of art in India I would love to go see. India has like the most beautiful textiles. You really do. Some more yellow here. So I'm just gonna, you know, work up to the bell. Okay, so Artist Bro says, which brush is the best, natural or artificial? Both. So what happens is with brushes, with the artificial brushes, you get what is called snap. So when I bend the bristles down, they snap right back in place. And this is nice if you want to do fine details and little areas that you need to have like a nice point. But yet this is a larger brush, so it can hold a little bit more. With the natural brushes, let me show you what happens. So this one is a Princeton Neptune series, and this one is a Blick Red Sable. When the natural brushes, like they do snap back, but as you can see, it doesn't want to snap back as much. Like this one has like no snap. It's just like, but these guys, they can hold a lot of water and a lot of pigment in them. So they're really nice for going the distance and doing washes and having a lot of endurance that way. Also, these bristles will keep a nice point for longer. I have to replace these brushes less. What happens with the synthetic ones is, I'm not sure if I can get it to focus in. Sort of. So you can see the tips of it. This one's still fairly new. It's starting to curl. And they just don't hold up, the synthetic ones. You can get ones that are hybrids, like this brand here. This one, it has synthetic long bristles in it to keep the snap, but then it has shorter natural squirrel bristles in there to hold and saturate the pigment. So this one sort of is almost like a fountain pen, where the natural bristles really hold a lot of the water, and it releases it slowly like a fountain pen to the synthetic ones. So there's pros and cons. I mean, the natural brushes, they're not vegan. So you have animal rights issues, and like, was the fur harvested humanely? And then the other issue you have, well, the other ones are synthetic, so it's plastics, and like, nah. So it's really up to your personal preference. But I do recommend in investing in like a decent brush, like a decent mid-quality, if you're going to be starting. What? That was a paintbrush. Yeah, so just like get yourself a decent brush. These ones are about like $12 a brush. I know that's a little bit expensive, but they last a while if you're just not a crazy manic painter like me. I have to get new brushes, like if it's a synthetic one, sometimes every 4 months when I'm painting every day, because I slaughter them. Oh my gosh, Anthony, thank you. And yes, you may call me dude. The Arches paper is so amazing. It's one of my favorites. I also got myself some Stonehenge paper, and this is really nice as well. If you're on a budget, you can get away with using the Canson XL series. If you stretch it, they're 140 pounds on paper. It is, oh yeah, I only used 4 colors for this entire painting so far. And I will finish it, and I will post the finished works on the art school. I love how this blue shadow, even though there really isn't that much of a shadow, the paint just sort of leaked out into the cheek shadow. And it doesn't do that in the portrait, but I'm going to leave it because I really like it. So yeah, I only used 4 colors. I used Azo Yellow, I used Permanent Rose, Phthalo Blue, and Transparent Brown Oxide. And yeah, like I was able to create all this just using those 4 colors. So like if you can limit your palette to like 4 or 5 colors, or 4 or 5 like tubes of paint, you can mix them into such a myriad of colors. But because they have the 4 base colors, the same base colors, well, not the same base color, but they have, you know what I mean, everything just goes together, and you have a really unified, harmonious palette going on as far as color goes. I am so chit-chatting over time. Yeah, I am a product of the 90s, Anthony, so I say dude a lot. I was actually in a staff meeting, and something just caught me off guard, and I was like, dude! But I was doing that and addressing my boss, and then one of the English teachers turned around and was like, did you just call your boss dude? And I was like, oh, yeah, but it's kind of like a compliment. I'm a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. So like hide away. So yeah, I definitely am going over time. I'm sorry. I will finish this up, and I will post it in the Sketchy Art School as well as on the Sketchy app. You can catch it on my Instagram, which is Clutter Monster. And yeah, there is the code that you can see. I wrote it down here, and it's down below in the description, that if you use WILD for watercolor, the American spelling of color, buy 2 or more watercolor classes and you'll get 20% off. Is there anything else I need to mention? I don't think so. So yeah, it's been really swell, and I hope that everybody can catch tomorrow's live broadcasts. We got the guys doing their artwork tomorrow, so you can catch them then. And then I do believe I'm on the schedule for next week as well, so I can show you. I'm going to do the same exact painting, but this time on the aqua board, so you can see the difference. Molly says, in my sketching class, I edited a photo to black and white. What filter did I use? I think I used the mono or the noir filter. Sometimes I go back and forth between them. Really good tip that I learned from Anna Lopez. So if I go to edit, and then I go into filters, yeah, it's noir or mono. I'll flip back between them. There's like only a subtle difference between them, but it's enough to really help you visualize the shapes when you're doing your initial sketches. It takes out the distraction of the color, so it can help you see the shapes better and be a little bit less distracted, and as well as also help define the values. Okay, so is there any other questions before I go? Type them now. No? All right, so yeah, I'm way over time. I will finish this up. Thank you everybody for joining, and I hope that you are enjoying Sketchy and Sketchy Art School. Don't forget to use the code to save money. Yeah, so I will hopefully catch everybody next week. All right, bye-bye for now. Oh, my IG, Clutter Monster. If you go to Sketchy's IG account, they have me tagged in their stories, so you can catch me there. And one of my children is summoning me, so gotta go. All right, bye. How do I end it?